I was led to reflect about my own life and what is important in my own life, and talk about that. So allow me to share openly about myself, my life examples and struggles and life learnings. I stand the risk of sounding a bit off, maybe sometimes offensive, sometimes boisterous. Just forgive me, but please go along with me. Let's have some fun. I believe there's a message in there for us. All right, here we go. That's the first one. All right, my message is called Vanity today. Vanity is that my legacy. Okay, so I believe every boy has got to get his favorite toy. So some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. I got my toy. It cost me a lot. Given that hitherto I could only afford second-hand reconditioned cars. So together with my family, we agonized for months about the decision. One of my sons conjectured and said, it's the cost of an apartment. This is going to be an apartment on wheels. And my friends back home, when I told them, they criticized and said, he has failed to finish his house and he's buying a car. What's wrong with this guy? So we researched this particular purchase deeply. We analyzed the engine capacity with my boys, the torque, the horsepower, the kilometers per second, when you accelerate, name it. We read every review and watched every YouTube video. So when the toy arrived, we decided to christen it. We decided to give it a name. So we discussed amongst ourselves and said, what name is appropriate to give to this car? And we chose the name Vanity. So yes, our little toy is called Vanity. And my message today is titled Vanity. Is vanity my legacy? So vanity is a very interesting one. It has two dimensions juxtaposed. On one side, admirable, proud, self-conceit, braggadocio, or whatever you want to say. You know, something really wild. On the other hand, it's something worthless, something futile, something pointless, something vainglory. That's what vanity is. So indeed, our most expensive life purchase, even if it's admirable, it's pointless in the grand scheme of things. It's just an expensive form of transport. One thing that stands out about our vanity is that it's not animistic. It's not animistic. It's just pieces of metal and plastic that have been crafted skillfully together and sold fools for hire. In a simple crash, vanity will turn into a rubble of waste and rust, only to be forgotten with no residual value. So our car, vanity, is not animistic. Something that does not have a soul nor a spirit is not animistic. So anything without a soul or spirit, however pretty, however admirable, it's worthless. It's futile, it's pointless, it's vainglory. Simply put, it's a pile of waste and rust in the making, soon to be forgotten forever, with no residual value. It's vain, it's vanity, it will not last. And you may say, what about my body? Yes, in a minute, it can drop and rot and will be reduced to a heap of sand. That's true. But wait, that's not the end of it. There is a residual value. My soul and my spirit will not rot. They are salvageable. My body will rot, but I will not rot. My soul and my spirit will outlast my feeble body. So I have a residual value, which is my soul and my spirit. Whatever remains, when lost, when moth, when rust, when death, when rot, have had their fair share. That is what I call legacy. What remains at the end of the day is legacy. So legacy is the penultimate. It's the goal. It's the purpose for your living. That which will remain, that which will last, that which we ought to give our uttermost attention, our energy, and our resources. The Bible says, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. I know we invest so heavily in our health. We spend time looking after our bodies, keep them fit, beautiful. We watch what we eat, we diet, we exercise, we go on holiday. We do all those good things they tell us are good for our bodies. We believe, we know that all these things are noble. But we've mistakenly gotten to believe that health is our greatest asset. If somebody gets a bad medical diagnosis, we believe that is the end. Is it really the end? A friend of mine from Zimbabwe was diagnosed with liver failure a few weeks ago, very young. Alex Chipangura passed on shortly after his diagnosis at 47 years. A very intelligent and passionate young man, full of love for God and his family. We used to sing together in South Africa in our church to do worship. Is this the end for Alex? Does something remain? Is there a residual value after his bones have entered into the soil? I believe something remains. Whatever remains, this is legacy. So our bodies and earthly treasures, unfortunately, do not pass the legacy test. They are not animistic. They have no soul and spirit. They are going down. Your beautiful mansion in Borodale can turn into a rubble of sand in seconds, following an earthquake. So what happened in Marrakesh. Your investments in the stock market can evaporate overnight, and your beautiful model wife can park and leave for another one. That child you invested heavily in can turn away and disown you. Let alone squander your priceless assets. What is it that remains for you? after all the elimination, after you eliminated everything? What will remain when you're born? When you walk out of the doors of a French bank, what remains on the table for you? You know, St. Francis of Assisi said, remember that when you leave this earth, you can take with you nothing that you have received, only what you have given. You can't take away anything that you have received. Only what you have given. What you give is your legacy. It's what will remain when you're gone. So how will you be remembered? Think about that for a minute. What will your legacy be? Will it be good readers is gone? Or will it be a good and faithful servant? Good and faithful servant. Why the word servant? Not good and faithful man, good and faithful woman, good and faithful servant. Why? What is it that you give? That's what counts at the end of the day. So think about all your endowments, your time, your money, your brilliant mind. You have the most brilliant minds on the continent here. Your youth and passion and energy. Are they aligned to legacy? Or they are aligned to vanity? Will the empire you're building outlast you? Let's read from Matthew 6:19 to 21. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where is your heart? Is it here? Or is it in heaven? Where are you storing up? For a long time, I thought storing up for my future and my family was the ultimate goal. So I knew I had to be a role model, father, husband, provider, and all of that. I got to learn the hard way that it's not about me and my family. It's not about me. Sorry, Marian, it's not about us. It's not about me and those who love me. It's those who don't. It's those who don't deserve. It's my neighbor. It's the one in need. The credit really racks up when you invest in such. For whatsoever you do for them, you actually do for Christ. Let's read Luke 6. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. If someone slaps you on one cheek, turn to them the other also. If someone takes your coat, do not withhold your shirt from them. Give to everyone who asks you. And if anyone takes what belongs to you, do not demand it back. Do to others as you would have them do to you. If you love those who love you, this is the shocker. What credit is that to you? What legacy is there? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good to those who do good to you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners do that. And if you lend to those whom you expect repayment, what credit is that to you? Even sinners lend to sinners, expecting to be repaid in full. But love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. Then your reward will be great. Now that's legacy. This is how your account racks up. And you will be children of the Most High, because He is kind. He is kind to the ungrateful and to the wicked. So be merciful, just as your Father is merciful. So our calling and our legacy is to love our enemies. It's to do good to them. It's to lend to them without expecting to get anything back. It's to be kind and merciful to the ungrateful and wicked. Those not in position to help themselves or to repay you back. Christ came not for the whole. He did not come for those that have it together. He came for the wicked. For the whole do not need a doctor. The broken do. So do we. He came for us. So is our calling to the unwhole, to the broken, to the sick, to the undeserving. That is our legacy. Matthew 25. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on the right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, your legacy. Take your inheritance, take your legacy. The kingdom prepared for you. The kingdom is your legacy. Since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." So our legacy is with the hungry, the thirsty, the strangers, the needy, the sick, those in prison, those in bondage of sin, those that do not know Christ. That's our legacy. Matthew 22:37. Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang in these two commandments." The whole Bible is hinged on these two laws. This is the executive summary of the entire Bible. Loving God, Jesus, J. Loving others, and then yourself. In that order. Jesus, others, and you. This is your life mandate. This is your calling. What you do to observe these laws is what remains when you are long gone and your legacy. So simply cut when you leave a present bank. You will seldom be remembered for how many deals you cut and how you impacted the balance sheet of the bank and how you averted risk. Name it. It's going to be about the servant part of it. It's how you demonstrated your love for God, your neighbor. I told you about my late friend Alex Chipangur. Alex told me about 10 years or so after I had left Johannesburg. It was at the peak of COVID. Just go back one. Yeah. He lost his job, started an enterprise. The enterprise went bust. He had burnt out his entire savings. He was unable to pay his creditors. He couldn't send his children to school. His wife had lost confidence. His landlord had secured an eviction order. Alex had borrowed money from me earlier. He was not in a position to pay. In the call, he cried so profusely. I've never experienced a man lament to that level. He claimed he had no one else to turn to. He said, I have no executable idea. And he rock bottom, could not sustain life and his family. And there was no more hope for him. He said he had prayed and fasted for months to no end, and his faith went. I recited verses of assurance, but they were all empty. There was no tangible hand of God manifested in his life, given his circumstances. I assured him God was working something good for him. I remember one thing that I kept saying during this ministration. I told him, God is answering your prayers, Alex. God is answering your prayers. Today, God is answering your prayers. So I put the phone down. Very tough moment. And then my tenant in Johannesburg called. Says, Robert, I'm returning to Durban, but I'm vacating your house. It became very clear to me that today God was answering my friend's prayer. God was vacating this house. It was tough to nurse. This was a mortgage property. I called my wife. I gave her the news. God was answering a desperate man's prayer, and I was to be the vessel. Those verses that appeared empty that I was quoting to him in his point of need were suddenly getting life. So I forgave the debt he owed. I gave him cash enough to cover the amount he owed his current landlord, and gave him the keys to the apartment gratis for a year and another, until he could get his feet back. Now, when my body gets to rot, everything about me may be forgotten. But I believe those children will remember what their father told them. When he was down at his lowest moment, he called a friend, and that friend came through for him. I would like to think that this is legacy. It's not about how many properties you acquire. It's about how many needy people you open up those properties to. I remember on a mission to Harare years ago, I met a little teenage Ethiopian girl, Bethel, almost thrown to the dumps. Bethel had attended the best schools in Harare, and she lived the top brass life as an expatriate kid, just like our children. Just imagine your own child. Her father was a successful expatriate. He disappeared overnight and fled the country with another woman, never to be heard of, never. Living in Bethel and her semi-illiterate mother, that was a typical trading housewife with no marketable skills. So first they were thrown out of the house, then Bethel was kicked out of the international school. Then they started to sell the household items one by one, until there was nothing left to sell. So Bethel, despite being so smart and passionate about school and her education journey was truncated. All her dreams were shattered. Her dad was gone. Her fancy expatriate life had vanished. She was reduced to doing odd gigs for surviving at such a tender age. Imagine your own child having to face such sudden reality. So when I first met Bethel, instantly the Lord said to me, that is your daughter. She's your responsibility from now on. Treat her no less than yours. This was a very bitter pill to swallow. I called Bethel for a meeting and I asked her if I could be her father, to which she agreed. I asked her, what would you want me to do for you as your father? She said, I want $300 so that I can buy a guitar and some speakers so that I can record music and sell CDs. And I can also go to the restaurants in Harare and play and get something so that I can feed my mom. I asked her about going back to school. She said, this is really not a priority for me at this point in time. My priority is to feed my mother. I got her a guitar and the speakers, and we continued our discussion about going back to school. I'm getting closer to the end. Bethel is a gifted musician with an incredible voice and hand at the guitar and piano. We needed a music school which could accommodate her. We couldn't find one in Zimbabwe, the country where she was born a foreigner and lived all her life. So the only possible schools were top brass schools in the US and the UK. So we went through the rigors of applying for admission. Noting that she had dropped out of middle school and had not graduated high school. So we had to surmount many hurdles to get a UK visa and source funding. I did not have the money to send her to the University of the UK. I remember taking a number of general loans from the bank on a few occasions to fund her education. Bethel graduated first class from the London College of Contemporary Music. She returned to Zimbabwe at 25 years to be the first Black head of the music department of Chisipite Senior School, an elitist school in Zimbabwe, the school that threw her out as a teen for lack of a father and the lack of school fees. Bethel has since returned to London to do her master's degree, and she's been invited to join the faculty of the university when she completes her master's. Wow, that's Bethel right there. I want you to clap for me, but I'm just sharing experiences that are mine. So nothing has ever been more worth to me in my life than fathering this little girl. I remember telling my wife, this is a seed for our own children's education and future. And indeed, we have not only seen birth of life, but we have seen that seed grow and multiply. We have seen our own children flourish and excel, gaining access to some of the best universities in the world. This summer, my first son, reading finance and economics at the University of Toronto, did his 6-week internship in Johannesburg with a leading Pan-African private equity fund. He helped the fund seal an equity investment deal with a medium-sized company that will touch the lives of many people in Ghana. Spent the rest of his summer supporting building the capacity of the worship team in our local church here in Malawi. I want to believe this is legacy. Legacy is about serving God and community, and then seeing God turn it around to work for you. You work for God and the community, and God turns it around to work for you. I remember my late father, it's the last story. My late father was running a loss-making medical practice. After he retired, he opened a little clinic. Retired from the Uganda Cancer Institute. We begged him to close that clinic. His response was, I'm not taking any money, but this clinic is providing a service to people who would otherwise have no other alternative. People are desperate. He woke up early every morning in his retirement, put on his suit, went and sat at the clinic and started seeing patients. At his funeral, the commendations, the testimonies of life saved and touched was endless. As a civil servant, all his life, he did not leave us millions in the bank or houses on hills and beaches. But he demonstrated love by loving and serving God and his community. He died on a mission field in Boston, where he had gone to provide encouragement to the Uganda Community Church in Boston. I believe his legacy lives on. Brothers and sisters, when all is said and done, when the stench of death is fresh, when the rubble heaps up, when the moth and rust have had their fair turn, whatever remains, that is your legacy. The question remains, what is your legacy? What are you leaving behind? Does it have a soul and life and spirit? Will it outlast you? So my prayer is that we may build our legacy on service to God and others, and not on vanity, not on material things of this world. Make this your life purpose and commitment, and do it with all your soul, your mind, and strength. Store up in heaven and not on earth. Those little acts of kindness and mercy and selflessness, they are not in vain. Your account is being credited. You are storing up. Even when you did not realize you were doing so. Finally, Matthew 25, then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and we clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you? The king will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did it for me. It's not vanity, it's legacy. Remember, we are only custodians of our life, of our time, of our wealth, of our earnings, talents, and gifts. We hold everything we are and own in trust for Jesus, God, others, and yourself. You're holding it in trust for God, for yourself, and then for God, for others, and yourself in that order. So manage that affairs entrusted to you as a true and faithful servant. I'll just share a little tip as I go out of here. My wife and I have agreed much earlier to align our resources to what matters. We adopted what we call the 10-10-10-70 rule. So the first 10th of everything we earn is for God. The second 10th is for others. So it's for neighbors, for charity, it's for the needy. The third 10th is for us. That's our savings, our future. The rest is for our livelihood, investment, and whatever the case. So this formula has helped us to make sure that we're deliberate in terms of allocating resources. What counts? It's not vanity, it's legacy. Thank you. Amen.